What if I told you that being born in the United States might no longer make you an American? That overnight, one of the core promises of this country, birthright citizenship, is no longer guaranteed. Families are panicking, lawsuits are exploding, and the future of thousands of newborns now hangs in the balance. This is not speculation. This is happening right now, and if you or your family have any connection to immigration, you cannot afford to miss what comes next. Let's begin with what actually changed. On January 20, 2025, a new executive order was signed titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship. This order seeks to end automatic citizenship at birth for children born in the U.S. when both their parents are neither U.S. citizens nor lawful permanent residents. That includes undocumented immigrants but also people living temporarily on student visas, work visas, tourist or visitor visas. Under this order, children born on U.S. soil after the effective date would not be automatically granted citizenship if their parents don't meet the new criteria. The administration's interpretation insists that the provision of the U.S. Constitution granting birthright citizenship requires that a child be subject to the jurisdiction of the United States at birth, and that this phrase excludes children of certain non-citizens. Until 2025, this interpretation was not enforced. Birthright citizenship applied broadly regardless of parents' immigration status. Now the executive order tries to narrow that definition dramatically to reshape who qualifies. This order was slated to cover all children born 30 days after its issuance, meaning February 19, 2025 and beyond. That means children born after that date to non-citizen, non-permanent resident parents might not automatically become citizens under this new framework. In practical terms, it means no automatic U.S. passports at birth, no automatic social security numbers, no guaranteed access to federal benefits tied to citizenship, at least not under the new guidance. For immigrant families, for people here temporarily on visas, for those dreaming of a future in America, this is more than a policy change. It is a seismic shift that alters the promise many believed in, that being born in America equals being American. But before we conclude birthright is over, we need to address the massive legal challenge. From the moment the order was issued, multiple states and legal advocacy groups mounted lawsuits arguing that the order violates the Constitution. Courts responded. A federal judge granted a preliminary injunction in early February 2025, blocking enforcement of the order. That means the plan's implementation was paused, at least temporarily. In July 2025, a federal appeals court unanimously ruled the order unconstitutional, at least in the states that challenged it. That decision reaffirmed that the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship remains intact under the traditional understanding of the law. Multiple courts have reiterated that an executive order cannot override the citizenship protections enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. These rulings restored hope for many immigrant families and children born on American soil. For now, children born in the United States remain eligible for birthright citizenship regardless of their parents' immigration status. The long-standing principle of just solely citizenship through birth on U.S. soil remains unaffected by these attempts. Yet despite these rulings, the fight is far from over. The administration has appealed the lower court decisions and formally asked the highest court in the land to weigh in. The question hanging over everything is constitutional: can a president unilaterally redefine birthright citizenship through executive action? The challenge now rests with the legal system's interpretation of the nation's founding laws. If the higher courts side with the executive branch, the implications could be vast. Tens of thousands of babies born each year in America to non-citizen or temporary status parents could lose automatic citizenship. Families might find themselves navigating a new and uncertain immigration reality. Access to childhood benefits, education, legal status, everything could become more complicated. Critics warn that ending automatic birthright citizenship would likely create a huge underclass of stateless or non-citizen children born in the U.S. Recent research projections show that if birthright citizenship is revoked for children of non-citizen or temporary status parents, the size of the unauthorized or non-citizen population could rise significantly over coming decades. By 2045 or beyond, the number of U.S.-born people without citizenship could swell into the millions. That is not just a statistic. That means millions of children could grow up in a tough limbo, born in America, yet denied the rights and privileges of citizenship. Their lives, education, mobility, job opportunities, even basic security, all could be at stake. The social ripple effects would be enormous. Communities with many immigrants, including temporary workers, students, or mixed-status families, would bear the greatest impact. For many, the hope of giving their children a better life in America may suddenly feel uncertain. Some may avoid having children in the U.S., others may look for risky workarounds, and many may feel fear about what lies ahead for their kids. The mental and emotional toll on immigrant families also cannot be underestimated. Imagine parents who move to America hoping to give their kids that all-important birthright citizenship, suddenly waking up to a reality where that promise no longer holds. Feelings of uncertainty, fear, identity crisis, and insecurity would ripple through communities. But it is not just about families already living in the U.S. For people abroad considering moving to America or sending their children there, plans, dreams, and expectations may completely change. Immigration calculus will shift, long-term planning may be postponed, and many may reconsider moving to the U.S. altogether. Even with the legal battles, the uncertainty continues. Every gathering, every birth, every new passport application, if this remains unresolved, could carry risk. Families may find themselves needing legal help, immigrants may reconsider their status, and children born here might have to grow up navigating complex legal challenges over their citizenship. It's also important to stress this is not just a policy debate, it is a constitutional and moral battle. Supporters of the order argue that changing birthright citizenship will protect national borders, prevent birth tourism, and reduce incentives for undocumented immigration. Opponents argue that birthright citizenship is a cornerstone of equality and inclusion, a promise for everyone born here to be treated with equal dignity and rights. If the courts ultimately uphold birthright citizenship, it will reaffirm a guarantee that has stood for more than 150 years. If they side with the executive order, it could be the most dramatic change to American citizenship law in a century. Either way, the stakes are enormous. If you are watching this and birthright citizenship touches your life, whether you or your partner are visa holders, permanent residents, undocumented, or simply planning for children, now is the time to stay alert. Monitor court rulings, track official statements from federal agencies, keep birth records and legal documents safe, and seek legal advice if you can. Because in 2025 the meaning of born on U.S. soil equals American citizen is no longer automatic. It has become contested. For now the fight continues. The promise of American citizenship at birth, once considered almost sacred, is being challenged, defended, debated, and decided. Your children's future, your family's story, and their identity may depend on what happens next in court.